Have you been feeling restless lately? Like something's coming, but you can't name it? Like there's a low hum beneath everything you do, and it's getting louder? That's not anxiety. That's a warning, because the sky isn't quiet anymore, and neither is your soul. Mars is opposing Pluto on April 26th, and this isn't just an astrological event. It's a confrontation, a cosmic collision of raw fire and silent force. And you're not watching from a safe distance. You're standing right in the crossfire. Mars brings the heat, your instincts, your impulses, the urge to move, to fight, to rise. Pluto brings the weight, the shadows, the silence, the transformation that doesn't ask for permission. When these two meet, they don't shake hands. They strike. And the spark hits Earth like a voltage surge through your nervous system. This isn't a moment to brush off. It's the kind of energy that finds you when you least expect it. In a conversation, a flash of memory, a sudden jolt in your gut. It's not just up there in the sky. It's already moving through your body, your choices, your relationships. So let me ask you, what if this week wasn't about keeping peace, but about claiming power? If you're ready to walk into the fire with open eyes, hit that like button. And drop a fire emoji in the comments if you've already felt the pressure rising. This isn't fear. This is the beginning of ignition. Let's slow down for a moment and break this down. Because what's happening above us isn't random. It's a map, a message, and a mirror. Mars, the red planet, isn't just a fiery ball floating 140 million miles away. In astrology, it's your inner warrior. It rules action, desire, movement. Mars is the heat in your chest when you're angry. It's the pounding in your legs when you want to run. It's fight, it's motion, it's I'm done waiting. Now meet Pluto, the cold, distant transformer. It doesn't shout. It whispers in the dark. It rules death, rebirth, secrets, control. Pluto is the chill in the room when someone walks in and you know something's off. It's the manipulation that hides behind a smile. It's not out to break you. It's out to remake you. And when Mars opposes Pluto, we're not just talking about space anymore. We're talking about pressure, collision. It's not fire or ice, it's fire and ice slamming into each other in the middle of your life. This alignment is rare. These two planets don't face off often, and when they do, it's not subtle. The energy hits like a 220-volt surge, sudden, hot, electrifying. You might feel more confrontational or more paranoid. You might get triggered by something small that turns into something massive. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't about astrology. It's about awakening. Mars says, act now. Pluto says, face the truth. Together they ask, are you brave enough to burn through your own illusions? This week, the cosmos isn't testing your horoscope. It's testing your instincts. And if you feel like your world is shaking, it's not just in your head. It's in your energy field. Welcome to the battlefield. It's not up there. It's right here. In your breath. In your choices. In who you become next. This part is personal. You might not have the words for it, but your body knows. Something in you has been waking up, and not gently. Maybe it started as a strange mood you couldn't shake. Maybe you've been snapping at people you normally wouldn't. Maybe your sleep has turned weird, intense dreams or no dreams at all. You feel like you're on edge, and yet more alive than you felt in years. This is the activation. And no, you're not going crazy. You're just being called back to something ancient. You see, Mars and Pluto don't tap you lightly. They dig into the basement of your being. They pull up what you buried. Emotions, memories, truths you thought you could outrun. One phrase, one look, one strange moment this week. And boom, you're triggered, but not in a surface way. This hits deep. It bypasses logic and goes straight to soul. And here's what no one tells you. The inner beast isn't something to be feared. It's not rage. It's not chaos. It's power. It's the version of you that doesn't apologize for existing. It's the part of you that remembers exactly who you were before the world told you to shrink. This isn't about being loud. It's about being real. It's about recognizing that you've been walking around half asleep, numbing out, holding back, trying to be reasonable. But now something cracks. You're done hiding your fire. You start saying things you've wanted to say for years. You look people in the eye and don't flinch. You quit explaining yourself, and maybe you cry, or shake, or laugh for no reason. That's not instability. That's release. Because the activation doesn't come in a lightning bolt. It comes in waves. It flows through your nervous system, your breath, your heartbeat, and slowly, the fog lifts. You are not malfunctioning. You are remembering. You're not breaking down. You're breaking open. Let it happen. This is the fire that heals you, not harms you. This is the moment your soul stops asking for permission and starts reclaiming your place. The beast isn't out of control. The beast is you, in your full, unfiltered, unapologetic power. You might think you've moved on, that you've healed, that you've left it all behind. But Mars and Pluto have a way of pulling ghosts out of the shadows, just to see what you'll do now. Don't be surprised if someone from your past suddenly pops up this week. An old friend. An ex you haven't thought about in years. A boss who made you feel small. A sibling who always knew which nerve to strike. They're not here to reconnect. They're not here for closure. They're here for one thing: access. Access to your focus, to your energy, to the version of you who still doubts yourself. But here's the truth. This isn't a reunion. It's a test. The universe doesn't send these echoes of the past to hurt you. It sends them to check your signal, to ask, are you still tuned into the same old frequency, or have you upgraded your field? It might come as a text, a random thought that spirals, a dream that shakes you awake at 3:33 a.m. It might feel like nostalgia, but it's not. It's a loop, and loops don't end unless you break them. This time you don't explain. You don't shrink. You don't hand over your light just to keep someone else comfortable, because you've built armor. Not the kind that makes you hard. The kind that makes you clear. You see it now. The manipulation wrapped in kindness. The guilt disguised as concern. The fake checking in that used to throw you off course. But not anymore. Now, you pause. You breathe. You smile. Not out of politeness, but because you've already walked through that fire, and you know where it leads. So if a door reopens, ask yourself, is this an invitation or a trap? Is this peace or just an old pattern wearing a new face? Mars brings the urge to react. Pluto brings the chance to rewrite. This week, choose the rewrite. Let your new self answer the door. Let your old self rest. Not every memory deserves resurrection. Not every voice gets a second chance in your sacred space. You've come too far to go back now. There's a heat building in you, and it's not physical. It's not hunger for food or thirst for attention. It's something deeper, a craving for movement, for meaning, for something real. This isn't impulsiveness. This is instinct. Your soul is stirring, and it's asking a question. What would you do if fear wasn't in the way? Maybe lately you've been restless, scrolling more, pacing rooms, canceling plans, thinking of quitting something, starting something, saying something. But you don't know why. That's Mars whispering, move. That's Pluto hissing, transform. And you're the lightning rod between them both. It's not that you're losing control. It's that you're finally reclaiming it. You've been calm for too long, quiet for too long, accepting things that no longer fit. And now your body is saying, enough. You might feel a sudden urge to speak a hard truth, to leave the room, to finally stop smiling when something doesn't sit right. And you don't need to justify it, because this is the fire within, the sacred ignition in your spine, the spark that says, I'm not here to perform, I'm here to live. You don't have to torch your life. But you do have to find a place for this fire, because if you don't channel it, it'll leak into your moods, into your conversations, into your habits. Suddenly, you're picking fights, making impulsive choices, not because you're wrong, but because your truth has no outlet. So give it one. Write, move, create, shout in a field. Sign up for that thing you keep postponing. Tell someone what you really mean. Burn, but burn safely. With purpose. With presence. Because this isn't chaos. It's clarity, disguised as discomfort. It's life force, screaming to be expressed. And the most dangerous thing you can do is ignore it. Don't. This isn't about destruction. It's about direction. Let the fire move through you. Let it shape you, sharpen you, stretch you. Because the truth you've buried, it's not going anywhere. It's knocking. And this time, you have the match. Not everything announces itself with thunder. Some energies arrive quietly, like a whisper at the edge of a crowded room. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss them. This week, the universe isn't shouting. It's testing your presence. It's asking, can you sense what's shifting before anything moves? You might notice it in the smallest glitches. A text that won't send. A light that flickers for no reason. A sudden silence in a room full of people, like the air itself just paused. These aren't accidents. They're signals, because Pluto doesn't crash in. It creeps in. It hides in stillness, behind the pause between thoughts. It works in the background, refining, revealing, resetting. Meanwhile, Mars pushes forward, sudden, hot, reactive. So what happens when impulse meets invisible force? You get tension, not loud, but tight, heavy, like walking into a space and knowing something just happened, or is about to. This is when it's tempting to seek closure, to confront, to say, let's fix this, just to break the discomfort. But not everything needs a resolution. Some things just need a boundary. This week, protect your power by conserving your energy. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. You don't need to justify your distance. You don't even need to respond. Silence can be a spell. Stillness can be a shield. Your wisdom is not in how fast you act, but in how clearly you sense when not to. This isn't paranoia. It's precision. Feel the moment when your body says, something's off. That's not insecurity. That's your energy field reading the room before your mind does. Respect that. Mars wants to lash out. Pluto wants to pull in. You don't have to do either. You can choose presence. You can choose restraint. You can let your stillness be louder than your words. And if you find yourself in a moment where everyone around you goes quiet, don't break it. Listen. Because sometimes the truth doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks in static. In eye contact that lingers 1 second too long. In a door that creaks open just a little too slowly. So watch. Wait. Let the shadows speak before you. Act because the wisest move this week might be the one you don't make. This Mars-Pluto opposition isn't just energy moving through the sky. It's a mirror placed right in front of you. And the question it's asking is simple. Are you still reacting, or are you finally choosing? Anyone can explode. Anyone can. Run, but power, the real kind, isn't loud. It's clear. It's rooted. It knows when to speak, and when to let silence do the talking. This week wasn't meant to break you. It was designed to reveal you, to pull out the parts you've buried, to test the ground you now stand on, to give you the fire, not to burn everything down, but to burn away everything that isn't truly yours. So take a breath, not out of fear, out of readiness, because when chaos knocks, you don't have to open the door. You can stand still. You can listen. You can choose not from panic, but from presence, and that's what it means to be in your power. If you made it here, drop in the comments. Let me know what this week has awakened in you. Hit that like button if this spoke to your soul. Share it with someone you know is walking through the fire right now. and subscribe for more clarity, truth, and cosmic wisdom every single week. Because the sky may shake, but you're just getting steady.